right, man. Excuse me. All right, man. You hear that the Grizzlies are trying to trade Dillon Brooks. I guess the trade deadline is being said, and people start asking around, Detroit Pistons universe that, should the Pistons trade for Dillon Brooks? Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk Players for more videos like this. Me personally, I'm gonna talk about Cam Johnson later. That's who I would pick to come here. But Dillon Brooks, I mean, personality. I don't think he's a good enough shooter for what we need. But defensive wise, I mean, defensively, and I think I like his attitude, that veteran, that rah-rah guy. I'm not mad that he talked his shit. But guess what? When you talk your shit, and this will come. When you talk shit and you gotta eat crow, you gotta sit out there, eat crow, and talk to the reporter. So it's something I would consider. But one thing about it, you gotta throw him in the starting lineup. When you go out there and you move for a guy like that, defensively, he's gonna make you a lot better on the wing. Anybody that can semi-match up with LeBron James and stand up to LeBron James is always worth considering. All right? He can give you a little time at the four if you need to buy some time. But defensively, yeah, I mean, you would talk about, okay, what about, would you bring in him or Draymond and we kind of talk about those things. I really want to do a Piston live, but obviously it's draft week, so for the NFL. So I get there, do some Piston videos, and then maybe next week we do a couple, Piston live streams. But let's talk about it. Check out Detroit Piston Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Now, as far as that 3 position, I don't know what's all out there. What's the other kid from Brooklyn that got traded from Houston, from Phoenix? I always forget his name. Forget his name. Markel. It ain't Markel. It's I forget his name. The other one. I like him a lot too. But it seemed like he just, coming into his own as a scorer. You know what I'm saying? Putting the ball, showing what he can do, and it'll be very interesting. I think, for him, if they do end up moving from Jaylen Brown, I think Boston would kind of want to get a guy like that in his place with some compensation. I think for Boston, that'd be a good move. They did move over from Jaylen Brown. I think for New York, that'd be another great move for them if Brooklyn wanted to move on. But Brooklyn not a bad team. It's just, can you get somebody else, a superstar there to help out Brooklyn? Which I'm not sure, right? But yeah, with Dillon Brooks, defensively, attitude-wise, you need those type of dudes. Pistons had Bill Laimbeer, Rick Mahorn, Ben Wallace. You know what I'm saying? Rasheed Wallace. You need those type of them type of dudes, them alphas. You need somebody that's gonna be I think Cade is an alpha. Ivy is too. I'm not sure. And that might be best for the team. Not to me, but you bring in Dillon Brooks, shooting would be a huge concern. But his Swiss Army knife ability defensively to guard the backcourts, to guard the wings. The interesting thing about that, when you talk about, well, we're gonna compromise shooting in this transaction for defense. The interesting thing about it is you can always rotate Bojanovic in there, and that's cool. But in that instance, that's gonna mean, and that's what Memphis got a problem with, shooting. That means K and Jaden Ivey got to get better 3-point shooting. They got to become instantly better together shooting the ball. And I really like what they can do inside the arc. The 10 to 15, with the 15 and within. I love what they can do there. I would love to see them just bring the two ball back, really kill that mid-range game and get to the rim and score a lot. But once they start getting to the mid-range and people start packing the paint and start meeting them at the free throw line or getting them to the line, you're going to need guys, like who can stretch the floor, who can shoot the basketball. And Dillon Brooks is a willing shooter, but he's not the most efficient shooter. And that's kind of the problem I got with Kyle. Didn't want to be interested in Kyle Kuzma. You got to understand what you need. You need 3-and-D guys. And the thing about getting Kyle Kuzma, he's not a great shooter and he's not a great defensive player. Think about Dillon Brooks. He's a really good defensive player. He's not a great shooter. That's the issue with him. So you really want to find somebody who's really good, who check both boxes. Or if I'm a compromise on it, I'm a compromise shooting. But guess what? I think the draft might be before free agency in the NBA. I could be wrong. I never remember. So in the NFL, it's always the opposite. In the NFL, so the draft, free agency is after the draft for the NBA, because I know it's the opposite from the NFL. So, depending on what they get, they get up there and they say, well, we want Brandon Miller, you know what I'm saying? Or let's say they don't get a top 3 pick and they fall to 5 or 4 or whatever, and they take a developmental guy or whatever, they choose to move the pick. Well, let's just say the pick didn't exist at that point. Then I think it's fair game. You say, okay, man, this is our options right here. We didn't get it. We don't have an option at the 4. We don't have an option at the 3. Maybe we consider Dillon Brooks. Maybe 3rd or 4th guy on the list. Maybe you consider Draymond Green. But if you get up that high and you get Victor Walla Banana, and that's what I'll call them. People don't like I say that. They want me to pronounce people's name right. This ain't the channel for y'all. They got to earn their name on this channel. But nonetheless, that's kind of how they want to do it. If they do get Victor Walla Banana in some crazy universe, which I don't think he'll let him come to Detroit, I think then at the 3 spot, then you can spare no expense in getting who you want to get. And the great thing about Victor, he kind of give you versatility. Eventually, he played a 5. He can probably guard some 3s out there and hold his own. Kind of like what you see what Evan Mobley doing. Kind of what you're gonna see Chet Holmgren doing. So I think you have some versatility across that line. So at that point, if you do get him, he can shoot. But I still think he need help shooting out there with the backcourt that you got. So you continue to need more shooting out there. So, but I think if you land him, it makes it easier to integrate Dillon Brooks. I'd rather get Dillon Brooks than Kyle Kuzma. I'd rather get Draymond than Kyle Kuzma. I'm gonna go ahead for the Pistons and categorize defense. I'm gonna prioritize defense over offense. Because one thing I believe Jaden Ivey improved head and shoulders with his shot. I think Cade Cunningham will improve head and shoulders over his shot. So I'm not worried about the center being able to shoot the ball. So if you was able to get a Brandon Miller who could shoot the ball well, or Victor W, whatever you want to call him, then I think you can start to compromise a little bit on the shooting with a Dillon Brooks, a willing shooter, a capable shooter, but not a great shooter, but young enough to get better. Then I think you can gamble on a Draymond Green. And y'all know if y'all don't learn Victor W, you know who I really like. I like Kristaps Porzingis. And I know little people saying, well, he injury prone and stuff. Yeah, everybody injury prone now these days. But I just like what Porzingis brings to the table to Detroit. Knockdown shooter, good shot blocker. Anthony Edwards said that's the best shot blocker that he been up against, and he dissed Rudy Gobert before he joined the Minnesota Timberwolves. So yeah, man, I'll be open to Dillon Brooks, but I'm more willing to compromise the shooting for the defense in these scenarios. So yeah, let me know what you girls and guys think. I don't think it's take a lot to get them. I like the personality. I like the veteran leadership, and I think they need that. Along with Alec Burke and Bojanovic, I think they can start lighting the fire to these young guys and show them how to be pros and boost them and inject some confidence. Wouldn't be mad if they moved on from Killian and brought in Patrick Beverly as well, too, to help them young guards defensively. So check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and the subscribe button. It's the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.